Hello and welcome to my Stamp Lady. I am here with a Snowman season bundle. So we're going to make this card and we're going to work with the Snowman Puff Paint. So the Snowman season bundle actually comes with this Snowman season stamp set, which is a lot of fun, and the coordinating snowman punch. But it's really a part of a whole suite, the whole Let It Snow suite, which you can find in the holiday catalog on pages 18 through 21. There's a lot of stuff. I don't have all of it, but I do have a lot of it because it's a really fun set to work with. So be sure to check that out in the holiday catalog. And if you don't have a demonstrator, go to my website, mystamplady.com, and request a catalog. I'd love to help you out. So this is the bundle that I'm going to work with, the Let It Snow, or the Snowman Season bundle. I'm also going to be using the prose letters and the stitched nested labels. So a lot of fun for this. The paper I'm using is a lot of fun. It's a specialty paper, meaning that it's got some sections that have some glitter in it. There are 5 different patterns, double-sided. And you know what? This snowman here, you can punch out with the coordinating punch. It's awesome. I've done it. I punched it out. Next, I've got to make a card with it is my next goal. In fact, on my second pack of this paper, it's a lot of fun. A lot of things to do with it. You'll be able to find all of the products that I'm using listed below in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, if you go to my website, you can find it with clickable links right there. So I have a piece of the thick Whisper White cardstock. This is my base. And this is a piece of that Let It Snow paper. And I'm just adding some glue. And I don't need to put anything underneath this paper, so I can just add it right to my card front. In fact, the Let It Snow embellishment kit that coordinates with this comes in a really cute box that's made with this particular pattern right here. Now I'm going to work with those prose letters, and so I will need to die cut those. So I'm going to just line them up. A great thing about using the letters is that you can use some of those scraps of paper you've been setting aside that you've cut off from something else. Die my plate on top and run this through the Big Shot. When you're all done, you have letters that look like this. And I am going to use some of the Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. And one thing I've discovered when I've been working with these letters is it's helpful to have it in a tweezer to start with. You want to shake it. I have found sometimes it first comes out with a little bit of a glop, so you want to be careful. And I don't really, so you can see it's kind of leading out. It's probably from shaking it. So you don't even really need to squeeze it, but I'm just going to spread it right there. And I like how it's got the nice white look to it. You heat set it, and I'm going to actually show you in real time how long it takes to heat set. It doesn't take a long time, but it takes a bit longer than you might expect. There you go. And then after you have put the puff paint on there, you heat set it like that, you end up with a nice puffy snow look. Okay, so I already did mine ahead of time, so you don't have to watch me do them all. So here's my snow. And you can even go in and add some more. So like for instance, on this piece here, I'm seeing that, you know what, maybe I want a little bit more right there. So I can even just go in, drop a bit more. And then I just added a heat and I got a little bit puffier. So that's one thing I like is if you can always go in and add a bit more and heat it up and get a better look or a different look. Okay, let's use that Memento ink and stamp the snowman. He's a lot of fun. He has a nice smile on his face. And I'm going to use the coordinating punch and punch him out. And so we just line him up in there, punch him out. I'm not worrying about those other little pieces that punched out. They're for the arms and all those. I'm going to do those separately. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Let's do a hat. And a little spot there. So we'll do the other side. And then I'm going to do 2 arms from the soft suede. Okay, so the hat is right there. So I'm just gonna slide that hat in there, punch that out. There we go. And now I have the arms. I'm going to cut this little part off here because it's in the way. And then I have the little stick arms. This is a great way to use up those narrower scraps that you end up with. Okay, so now I'm going to use a few of the blends, the Stampin' Blends to color. We've got the dark pumpkin pie, dark old olive, light basic black, dark pool party, and dark red. So on the snowman, all I'm going to have to color is the nose. So we're just going to open that up. And then I'm going to go ahead and color up the hat. Okay, so let's glue together this guy. I'm going to use my silicone pad here because that's going to, if I get any glue where I don't want it, the nice thing about that is it will not stick to my pad. So let's just put his hat on him, turn that over, and then I'm just going to put a couple of spots of glue here, and we will set down those arms, and then I can set this aside to let it dry until I need that part. I have cut out this piece here, and this is going to be my snowman, and it's also going to hold those trees. Now, to get the trees, I am using the tree punch. You'll notice the tree punch has a trunk, and it is taller. I don't want my trees quite as tall. In fact, I want my shorter tree to only go to about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to go to the edge, and I'm lining it up right there. This is going to be my shorter tree. And then I'm going to go in a little further down to get my larger tree. So I'm going to go down to about that spot to get my larger tree. I don't want these really sharp corners or the, kind of a flat, because a tree doesn't look just stark straight across like that. So I just kind of curved it a little bit with scissors. So now I have kind of a little more curved bottom, and I just think it looks a little more natural. And I want to add a little trunk to the bottom of this, so I'm just going to cut off just a small rectangle, and we'll turn these over, put a little glue on the bottom here, and add that trunk. And then we'll set this on there and let that dry. So now I have a little tree. Okay, we can set that aside. While those are drying, I'm setting my little piece here. This is going to put the snowman on there. I'm setting that there for placement so I can place down my letters. I really do recommend that you do the snow on the snow letters first, because if you try to heat set that after you've glued it on here, it's going to warp your cardstock. The heat's going to take away the adhesive underneath. So decide where you want these, and you could make them kind of playful and have them going, any which direction. But if you do want them straight, for me, I have found it works best to take a ruler or a straight edge of some kind and go in there, and that just helps me with placement. So now I'm going to I'm going to start with the O, put some of my adhesive on the back, and then set that down. And because it is a liquid adhesive, it gives me a little bit of wiggle time, meaning I can adjust it a little bit. So now I have my letters down on the front, and let's go back and work with this. I'm going to take those trees that I did, and let's see, this is the larger one, and this is the smaller one. Be sure to let that glue dry between the trunk and the trees pretty well before you try to handle them, because that glitter really prevents it from sticking unless it's truly dry, or else you could use a mini glue dot underneath there, and then that would dry right away. But because of the glitter on the front there, it's going to take a while to settle, to set. So you might want to use a mini glue dot instead if you don't have time to wait. After you have your trees down, I've added some dimensionals to the back of the snowman, and I've taken the covers off, and I'm just going to place my little snowman here in between those glittery red trees. And we're going to add a little bit of puff paint to the bottom of the snowman, and I would recommend that you do this before you put it down onto your card front, because if you don't and you kind of blow the you're gonna blow the, or heat up the puff paint, and it's gonna probably kind of cause some damage to your background. So then heat set this. You can see that when I did that heat setting there, it kind of curved up my paper a little bit. So after it's cooled down a bit, you can kind of press it back into place. And let's add that snowman. See, look, you can see how there's a little curve. That's why you don't want to do it over the back of when you've got things already glued down. And we're ready to share the snow. We have already had so much snow this year. For this time of November, it is November, so we do get snow. We live along Lake Superior, but we've had a lot. It's just, or it seems like it. I guess I'd have to actually look and see. But isn't he fun? And this is the Let It Snow suite with the Snowman season and the puff paint. So this is the Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. And I hope you've enjoyed making the little smaller trees too. So be sure to stay tuned for another winter card.